Remember to turn off on the.
Yes, I have sound, and hopefully chat can hear me. Ooh. I'm waiting for confirmation from sound.
Chat, can you hear me?
They're saying they can't see anything.
I think that was from the previous screen, though.
Mm-hmm. Oh no, I'm the one echoing. All right, sorry, figuring out. Am I still echoing? I hate technical stuff. All right, am I still echoing? Or now, am I still echoing? And group, can you talk?
Hello.
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 Hello, world.
Chat, is audio good?
Testing, testing.
I think I fixed it. I think I figured out the problem. I'm waiting on confirmation. Audio okay? Okay. Yay. Thank you. Oh, Streamlabs is a struggle. But good evening, adventurers, and welcome to today's episode of Goodberry Cafe. Goodberry Cafe is the little warm cafe where everyone is welcome to come in and pull up a chair. And today, like usual, we are serving up a cup of inspiration, so I hope you'll come in and stay a while. My name is Jem, and I'll be your host. First off, I wanted to say Happy New Year and welcome to the first Goodberry Cafe of the new year. You might notice it looks a little different around here, and that's because we're switching things up. We're trying something new. So today is our first episode of our new take on the cafe, where for the second Monday of the month, I'll be inviting some guests to join me in trying out new, weird, unique, creative, indie tabletop role-playing games. So we're still trying to maintain that same warm cafe atmosphere, but now we've just decided to bring some games into the cafe. So I still hope that we'll have this space be very inviting and comfortable and safe. But instead of interviews, I want us all to learn and stumble our way through these games as we try them out together. So this evening, we'll be playing a game called Mage Against the Machine. It's by Jordan Palmer. I believe our mods have linked it in the chat. In Mage Against the Machine, we'll be taking on the role of time-traveling wizards, attempting to stop the robot apocalypse. We will travel back to moments in each of our individual lives where that we have the most connection to, in hopes of finding the events that set in motion the destruction of civilization. Oh no, we lost someone.
Oh no. The robots got Sam.
No.
The robots
Sam,
got
no.
Sam. And it messed up the layout.
Well, hopefully it'll fix when he joins again. But temporarily, I'm Louis.
I was half of two people. Oh, now I'm Sam.
Yeah.
And
We're
now
all Sam, aren't we?
Sam is Jim.
Now Sam's back. Okay. Oh.
And Nick, who looks like me, is actually Jerry TV. Oh, wait, there it fixed it.
Yep. I don't know where I was in introducing the game. But basically we're time traveling wizards. We're going back in time. We're seeing if we can stop the apocalypse. But however, like all time travel things, each time we go back in time, we can use our magic to alter the world, but also we will generate anomalies which could change what's happening in our present. So myself and my guests have never played this game before. But we are excited to try it out live with you all. It's gonna be fun. I'll try and talk through some of the rules as we play, but remember that we are all learning this together, so please have patience with us. All right, before we get started, I do want to introduce my guests. First up, Jeremy, would you like to introduce yourself?
Hello, I'm Jeremy DeChant, Jeremy TV on the internet. So you can find me as Jeremy TV on Twitch, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter and TikTok. I work for marketing in games and comic books, but I also dabble in voice acting, conventions, and I'm just a big nerd. Very sus, apparently.
Awesome to have you here, Jeremy. And up next, Sam, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah, I guess I will. Hi, my name is Sam Gosland. You can find me on the internet on either my name, Sam Gosland, or Boxbrush. I am an entertainer and artist. I do painting and improv and tabletop stuff. And because of that, I'm very happy to be here.
Happy to have you in the cafe. And Nick.
Hello, I'm Nick. I also go by Nicholas. I do not have any socials to share. Please do not attempt to follow me there. It's if that would be great. And yeah, I am a board game tabletop D&D enthusiast, and I'm excited to be figuring this game out with y'all.
All right. And then Louis.
Hey everyone, I'm Louis. I exist. I'm friends with all these wonderful people, and I enjoy board games just as much as the next guy. So excited to try this one for the first time.
Awesome.
I like the social media presence of "do not observe me." Do not wish to be observed.
Do not refer to me.
Yeah.
All right. So that brings us to, I believe, the start of our game. So I'm going to start by reading the story of this game, Mage Against the Machine, and then we will figure out what it is we have to do first. So the story, Mage Against the Machine, is a game about time-traveling wizards going back in time to stop the robot apocalypse. The way things sit now, the machine cannot be stopped. It is everywhere, it is everything. Your only hope is going back to when it wasn't, to make sure it never is. You must do what you've been warned about your whole life. You must travel back in time and meddle with reality. And the intro to this game is Mage Against the Machine is a quick GM-less role-playing game played in a single session, so that'll be tonight. Instead of one person, a GM-less game, so instead of one person running the game and making all the decisions, every player here is responsible for the story, for the narrative development. So it just requires active listening, it requires some improv, some yes and letting our instincts guide the story and sharing the spotlight with one another. So prior to this session, we as players had to do a couple things. We had to write down 2 memories that are emotionally impactful to our characters. And to create our memories, we had to choose a person, place, or an event that we had deep emotional ties to. And then we had to figure out which of the following emotions represented our feelings associated with that event. And then we had to answer 2 questions about these memories of our characters. One was, why was this memory so important to you? And 2 was, how does this memory affect the way you live in the present? So then we each individually as players had to determine some pivotal events that led to the robot apocalypse. The advice from the game was to think small. It should seem almost inconsequential in the grand scheme of things. And the events that we came up with as players should be somewhere after humanity started tinkering with artificial intelligence, but before the artificial intelligence affected every computer on the planet and took absolute control. So we each had to choose a starting event. This is an event where us as players knew that something odd was happening, but don't know why it's important in the grand scheme of things. And then as players, we had to also choose an ending event. So this is an event where you know the end results of what happened, but not what led up to that moment. So then, as players, we paired each of these events with our memories and arranged them in a timeline. And now, so the next part of the game, before we jump into playing, is for us as players, all of us time-traveling wizards, to determine the order of the events that we've all developed separately and lay them out in some sort of a rough timeline. All right. Before we say each of our events, why don't we just describe our characters? Jeremy, I'm gonna have you go first.
Sure. My character is Drake. He doesn't really give his last name. He's kind of a much older guy. He kind of looks like he's seen better days. He's very, very gruff looking. He kind of smells a little bit like alcohol. He looks like he's been through some stuff, and he lost his daughter in the apocalypse, and that's part of his motivation for going back in time. And I think that's just kind of his whole thing, is like that's his whole life is about that, and that's his whole reason for doing anything. So that's kind of why he signed up for this. But he's had magic most of his life, and now he's ready to put it to good use.
All right. And Sam, do you want to go next?
My character is Arcturus Adams, probabilitist. He studied the magic of probability and devoted all of his time and resources to that at the cost of his relationships and about everything else. His hope is to go back in time so he can go back and fix everything he ruined in search of his craft.
I love it. And Nick, you want to go next?
My character is named Nathaniel. He is also an older, kind of beaten up, haggard man. He has a crooked nose and an equally crooked smile, which he doesn't do that often given the circumstances of the robot apocalypse. But he had spent his days previously as a teacher studying magic, and he is interested in undoing the flaws of what have been created here.
And Louis?
My character is a little on the older side. I wouldn't say as young as middle age, but not quite a senior, that little in between space. He's got a long gray beard, but with some speckles of black still in it. And well, the main thing about him is that he's kind of like a potions master in wizard terms. He loves brewing concoctions and trying to, use them to help the remnants of humanity. Sees this as a chance to right the wrongs of the world, not wrong the rights. That's about it. That's all I have for him.
Awesome.
I'm sorry.
No, what was your character's name? I think I missed that.
Rigel.
I'm writing it down. All right, I'll introduce my character. Her name is Shannara. She's got 2 long white pigtails all the way down her body, really long hair. She wears a ridiculous, sparkly, flowy outfit and a blue-purple wizard hat. Shannara didn't discover she had magic until later in life, as she was an adult. She has always been against the how technology has forced its way into her life. Ultimately, things that have happened have caused her to lose some people that are very important to her, and some value stretched her values, made her go against her values in many ways. So she wants to go back to a simpler time where she can just live and relax in peace with her loved ones. All right. So next we want to list out our events.
Sure.
Does anyone want to go
Yeah.
first?
Sure. So my two memories were the day I adopted my daughter, and then her 16th birthday, which was the first time she called me dad. So those are my two memories, and they have tie-ins to different events.
And so for game rules, should we say the events too right now, right? Too.
With if it's a starter or ender, maybe, or what do you mean?
Like, because at this point we're trying to determine the timeline of the events, right? We're all trying to figure out this game. It's a little confusing.
So yeah, so for the adopting of the daughter, the event was kind of like that's obviously much earlier. Her parents were killed, but it was related to certain things and what they did for a living. And for the birthday, she kind of hated magic. Obviously, she hated magic, and that had to do with her parents and their death. And I, for her 16th birthday, got her an AI powered companion robot. And that's what she had always wanted. And that was when the first time she called me dad. So.
Okay.
Sam, did you want to go next? We can just stay in this order, actually.
Works for me.
Okay, cool. Yeah. So I have one of them's a memory is goes to his son's baseball game, which he used as a way to experiment with probability magic. He was trying to get his son to win, and so that was the I guess the pre one where I don't know how that ended, and then the other was he's at the hospital with his wife has cancer, and he's working with an AI to try to calculate which cells he can get to mutate to basically counteract the ones that are lethal, that are cancerous cells. But that only made it worse. It actually sped up the mutation, and ultimately is what killed her. So, yeah, so that'd be the pre and the post. And then it's had joy and then hope as the two emotions.
I think we can like definitely build on that when we enter the memories.
Okay,
I think
cool.
just right now, like you can stick at basics, so we're not repeating ourselves too.
Got it.
Nick, you want to go next?
Sure. So the first event I have is a sort of coming of age ceremony where some people do discover magic at a later point of time, like you mentioned. However, there is a way to kind of jumpstart the process with the use of the technology that we have available. And so this is from when Nathaniel is a child, and he kind of gets that jumpstart at this event.
Mm-hmm.
And the second one I have is, oh man, this is we should have maybe tested to make sure there weren't duplicates. But this is a somewhat bittersweet memory at a hospital where where a loved one is struggling to survive and is relying on the use of AI to do so.
That's different enough. And I think it's also like crazy if they were the same, then definitely they happen near each other on the timeline, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. Or if it's the same loved one or yeah, in the same ward.
But one of my first ones when I thought of one was gonna be the like ceremony of like you discover you have magic. That was gonna be my
Hey, great minds, you know.
Yep.
All right. And Lee?
So my starting memory is a party at wizard school. It was when I first felt truly accepted, like I'd found my in-group on my potion makers club, and we partied so hard that I don't remember how it ended. I just remember how it started.
Ooh,
And the feeling I have tied to it is gratitude.
Mm-hmm.
gratitude.
And your second.
And for the ending event, sorry, I had like two options in my head, and neither of them sound good after hearing all of yours. So I'm just gonna pull it out of
Do
my
it.
nether reasons.
Reasons.
The day I got my wizard diploma.
Ooh.
That was I would say the emotion tied to that is hope, because I was going out with my, master's in potion making, or my PhD. I don't know if wizards are doctors. I don't know how it works, but either way,
It is.
I was excited to go out into the world and see how much better the world would be after I was around for a while. And well, didn't turn out that way, but we're here to fix that.
All right, I can go next. I'm gonna say a little less detail, I think, than you all, because it'll come out as we because the point of this game is I think we go into everyone's memories. So I'm just gonna tell you my events. Where did I write them? Okay, my first event is the day I had my first kiss. Right after my first kiss, the news came on, and I found out that they were banning citizens in my country, my world, or wherever I was living. They were banning citizens from raising their own livestock. So you weren't allowed to raise your own chickens. Weren't allowed to raise cows or horses. We were moving to an all artificially created meat. And my second event was just a day in my home that I was living in at the time. The event associated with it was I was on the run from the government and hiding off of the grid because the government implemented a ruling that we all had to register and get implants in our brain, and they were hunting down people who were against that. All right, so now we got to figure out the order these came in and who to start with.
Yours are very topical. Like the price of eggs has just gone up. Too real. Too real.
I'm very upset about this.
I know you're upset about the eggs. I felt it. I was like, this is where that's coming from.
I was literally just talking to Mickey about the price of eggs. Oh, that's funny.
I think the earliest one, since Nick and I are older, would be his little ceremony.
As when I was a child?
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense.
I have the events written down, so I can be the person tracking the timeline.
Cool.
Okay.
Oh, cool.
Good.
Yeah. So I do agree. I do agree that one should come first.
Let's see.
And then probably. I guess.
Rachel, how old did you say you were? Or are you?
Who?
I'm wondering if you're going to wizard school if that would be earlier on.
Earlier than Jem's first kiss.
Yeah, I'm also like a 50 or early 60-year-old woman.
She a gilf.
Woogilf. The W's for wizard.
But yeah, Louis, how old is your character?
I was thinking like 50s.
So when did you have your first kiss?
My first kiss was probably in my late 20s. Yeah.
Wow.
Studious.
I know.
I would think that my wizard party was probably before your first kiss, because
Okay.
I don't know how long it takes to graduate wizard school, but I figured the party would have been early on.
Yeah, freshman year.
Like freshman year. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. All right. So that'll be second. Third.
When
I think-
did the adoption happen?
Yeah.
The adoption would have happened kind of later, but not super later. I think it would have come after Jem's first kiss,
Okay.
and then probably before Sam's baseball game.
Yeah. Was the daughter adopted? Oh, I guess we'd have to go over this into the scenes, right? Those
Hopefully,
kind of
if it's details
How
other
old
than
they were when
time.
they were adopted.
Yeah. Yeah, it would be. Yeah. So I would say
3.
because
The banning livestock is 3, you think?
no, yeah, for your first kiss.
Yeah. Yeah, first kiss banning livestock. Yeah.
I think
Okay.
it would go, yeah, first kiss would be 3. I think I would have graduated wizard school in my 30s. So that would have been after your first kiss.
Yeah, so I think
4.
next would be the adoption for me, and then Sam's baseball game,
Yeah.
and then I think graduation, and then probably then it's the 2 hospital scenes back to back, unfortunately.
Yeah, I like that.
So
Let's
yeah,
do
then it's
let's do Nick's first.
Okay.
And then just because I'm like looking at the distribution of how we will all be talking, so nobody's talking like right after.
So Sam is going like twice in 3
Yeah.
instances.
yeah. So we'll do Nick's first, and then because Nick's older anyway, that makes sense.
That's true.
Then we do Sam's, and then we do my last one, and Jem's last one should probably be the last 2.
About it.
Yeah.
We got all
I
10.
feel like
There's
I like
specific
that.
order?
But they just your daughter just turned 16 then. Ooh. So it's
Yeah.
still fresh. Yeah. Okay.
yeah, mine's towards the end and start of the thing. Is the way I planned it out. And it sounded like Jem's was too, with the whole chipping thing.
Yeah. That makes
Um,
sense. Because once this got going, I'm sure it would ramp up fast. It's not like with a lot of, I think, like regimes or takeovers, they can be like slow and steady, but I think with AI, it makes sense that it'd be this sort of exponential spike of change. So yeah, that reads. So then the last one's the running from the government then?
Yeah. Fresh.
Makes sense.
All right.
That would be closest to the end.
Yeah. Mandatory implants. Yeah.
And then do we also have to decide how the machine came to power, or is that how we're doing that through the events?
I think that happens through the events.
Yeah.
Right?
These
That's
are
how I
kind of
interpret
like 10 little slices of life that kind of 10 puzzle pieces that kind of show how
Yeah.
things progress.
We are making the apocalypse.
Yeah.
And trying to take it down at the same time. All right, so before we jump into the game, some rules on how the game is played, which I'm gonna read the rules for the audience. So we start the game by jumping into the first memory of the timeline. So we just made the timeline together. The players whose memory this is going to describe to the rest of us what is going on in this memory. Unfortunately, the player whose memory it is cannot directly interact with their own memories. So their job is to kind of be the game master for that memory and answer all of our questions about the memory. So whenever any of us want to know a detail or a fact or a significance about anything in the scene, we're going to ask that person who owns that memory, and the person who owns the memory is going to answer. And I'm reading the rules again because this is where the rules get a little confusing. All right. So when we hear about the memory and the event that's associated with that memory and things happening, the other time wizards have to kind of declare, we can step in and declare how we think that event is happening and how we're going to stop it, or one theory about how the event started and how we're going to stop it. And then that's when we roll the dice, and we will be rolling a d6 to see if we are successful as we go back in time in resolving the event that happened in that memory, or if something bad happens, or if we've added an anomaly to the time flux or whatever.
Wobbly.
In either case, we have to describe exactly, like in detail, what we're doing to help resolve the bad event that's in this memory. And we can use magic to bend reality. When we use magic, we choose one adjective that fits what the spell is doing, and we describe the effect. Whenever we use magic, we get a +1 to our rolls. However, we have to keep track of the adjectives that we are using, because as a group throughout the game, we can never use the same adjective more than once, because if we use the same adjective more than once, we generate an anomaly. So that's where it's going to be super hard.
Yeah, or a
synonym automatically generates an anomaly. That's going to be...
Yeah, that's good. That's what's going to get us.
Because we're definitely incentivized to use magic because it gives us a +1, but then we have to make sure we don't step on any toes.
Yep, that's chat's job to rules lawyer us on that.
Yes, please, because this is already like crazy.
So it's from the list though of emotions, right? Or it's just in general if we pick a
No, for the adjectives, it's not from that list. It could be.
Oh, perfect. Oh, that's just the memories.
I think the list of emotions are kind of a guideline for us, because I think the general gist of it is that the emotions should have some sort of like positive or like
and depending on how
them, so that these are like warm memories we're stepping into for us.
Yes.
Also depending on how good or bad we do within the memory depends on if that emotion changes at the end of the game,
or at the end of that scene.
Okay.
And so we can change a scene using magic. And then whenever the leading player answers any of our questions, if any of us as players want to spend an anomaly that we have as a group to change the answer to something different and complicate the scene, we can do that. So the game encourages us to spend anomalies when we have a fun idea on how to twist things. And as a group, we start with one anomaly, and we generate more as we play. We have to keep track of how many anomalies that we create by doubling up adjectives or rolling poorly, because they are involved at the end of each memory scene. All right. I think we're ready to start. Are you guys feeling ready to start?
Yep.
Yeah, let's jump into Nick's memory.
Sure. So I kind of discussed the memory, but I think I'll go a little bit more in depth on that, and also just the pivotal event that's happening. But this is essentially a kind of more on the elite side, a coming of age ceremony for children who can artificially be given the tools for magic. And so normally people may discover they have magical abilities naturally. However, through the use of technology, people have figured out a way to kind of kickstart that reaction. And so Nathaniel was, as a child, privileged enough to be able to go to this ceremony. However, the larger event at hand is that there are a significant number of protesters who maybe didn't like this and thought that this was unnatural. And so the starting event of this essentially is crossing a picket line in order to get through and succeed this. As far as that major event, I do not know the ending to it. From my own personal memory, though, I was able to successfully undergo this kind of almost invasive surgery to artificially implant the beginnings of my magical abilities. And after doing so, I was able to cast a couple of spells, and that brought great joy to me. And that kind of triggered my lifelong love of magic and my yearning to understand its principles.
So I'm gonna ask my questions in character. So how technical was this technology that turned you magic?
Well, it was.
Well, let me. Is it like a computer thing, or is it like an injection or a shot, which is still
It
technology?
was an injection at the back of the neck to kind of get into the cranium. There's a little bit of AI involved as well to kind of unlock each person's potential, because everyone is different. So you can't just use the same, I guess, serum or the same substance for it.
So you're telling me that you weren't really like born with magic. You just got it when you got the chip. You didn't have any magic.
I don't know if I would call it a chip.
But you didn't have magic before the event, the ceremony.
Correct. It's possible that I might have developed it later on in life naturally. However, this sort of artificially kickstarted the changes in my brain that needed to happen.
Excellent. I have a question as well. Can you go into where you got this injection? I don't mean where on your body. I mean, where did you go to get this?
Yeah. So this was a government facility, researched by them. And as I mentioned, this opportunity came because as a young child, I came from a position of privilege. I had wealthy parents who were able to essentially buy the admission ticket for me to get into this. So this is not necessarily an opportunity for everyone.
I have a question. Can I use an anomaly here? I just want to make sure I understand the rules correctly. I can use the anomaly to change his answer, correct?
Yeah, and we only have one anomaly so far, so you can use that one.
Okay. I would like to change it from I was a child of privilege, therefore I was able to get into it, to you were poor and vulnerable and the government, used you as a guinea pig.
I was a lab rat?
Yeah, you were a lab rat.
Yeah, I was I was a lab rat. This was something that my parents signed me up for in order to get an extra stipend to help me.
That's good.
Does he have to roll for the use of the anomaly? For the change?
I don't
I think
believe
that kicks
so.
in at the end of the scene.
No, I don't think using the anomaly requires the roll.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
It just complicates the scene.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Yes. I have a question. What happened to the protesters, and why can't you remember?
Ooh.
Well, as I mentioned, I had to cross picket lines to get in, and then I discovered the joys of magic, and then leaving, there were no protesters, and I don't know what happened to them.
Mhm.
So
I
so
might.
back in this time, was it popular to be putting stuff in our bodies like that, or was it were there a lot of protesters? Like, was it more popular to be against these sorts of things and invasions in our bodies, or was it not a lot of protesters?
It was definitely more conventional to be against this. As things have been changed, this was not something, or more being a guinea pig now, this was something that the research facility needed maybe unwilling volunteers for. So
How old again were you?
I was 10.
Hmm.
So this was something that was frowned upon. And I'm kind of having to make this up since I was thrown the anomaly that it was. But
Complicates it.
Yeah. This was something looked down upon and
I think
not
I know.
necessarily
I know how we can
like
change things.
Ooh.
I had my magical awakening when I was probably about 6.5. And it's not unheard of for people to get it later in life and younger in life, but if you were to get it right there in front of those protesters, then you wouldn't have needed to gone in to get the chip, right? And then everybody would have seen that the chip was useless because you could do it naturally.
Mm-hmm.
What are you gonna do to give him his awakening?
Well, if we used our magic to activate his magic,
Wouldn't they just find another guinea pig since he was a guinea pig? It
yeah,
wasn't
but
like some prestigious like limited number. Like they just picked a kid.
yeah, I'm thinking this was public because of the protesters and a public event showing
Probably
that the
trying
chip
to,
was useless.
yeah, probably trying to garner like, look at this
And
proof
he's
of
just a
concept.
kid.
Yeah.
They would have nothing but sympathy for him. Poor child.
More positive support sooner.
Mm.
Let us do what we must.
That's worth a shot.
I'm
I
gonna
don't like
offer
the idea.
I'm gonna offer one other idea. I like that. I just what if we burn the place down, the facility? What if we get the protesters to riot?
But I agree with your plan, but we have to remember if we change something in the past, it'll affect the present. If we burn it down before he gets his powers, we might never get to know our friend here.
Oh, that's true.
So we have to make sure we do it after it's been injected.
The point, though, is to change the past.
It will. We'll still burn it down, but you'll still be the first.
While I appreciate a good fireball and having things within fireball range, there is a chance that I'm worried that he may have not even gotten magical powers without the injection, and thus he wouldn't be here today.
Yeah. That's all right. Well, let's go with your. If you believe that your magic's strong enough to awaken his power, then go for it. It's all you.
Okay. What do I gotta roll for that?
A D6.
A D6 with +1, right?
Well, if you're gonna use, so you have to describe in detail exactly what you're doing. And if you're going to use magic, you have to choose one adjective that fits exactly what that spell is doing and describe the effect of your spell. If you do use magic, you get a +1 to your roll.
It looks like you can use a mundane sort of
but
solution.
That's not using magic, so.
Right, yeah. Oh, I see. Oh, and that's only... Got it.
I'm gonna use magic. I guess the only word I can think of that comes is puberty, like magical puberty, or awakening.
Wait, Which
Pubescent.
pubescent
The
is
old
an
setup
adjective.
ball
Yeah.
drop, huh?
Pubescent.
Pubescent. I mean, we're probably not going to use that one again, too.
Jeremy.
Double puberty.
So, let's put our boy Nick through puberty. And I'm gonna roll d6 plus 1. And my goal is for him, when that whole protesting crowd is there and the cameras are on, he receives his magical awakening and no longer has to go into the facility. I got a 5 plus 1. So a6.
You succeed
Puberty!
and resolve the incident. Yeah. Awesome.
We could have done it with fire, but we did it with puberty.
Very nice.
Mazel tov, Nathaniel.
So my understanding is that we kind of narrate the resolutions post game, correct?
Yeah, that's what it looks like. Yes.
Okay, so we don't talk about what happened when he had in the crowd?
No, we have to keep
Yeah.
track
Nope,
of
it just worked.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then there is a resolution of all the memories after we're done with all 10 of them.
And just to confirm, right now we're at 0 anomalies, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Cool. Just making sure.
Because I rolled good.
Yeah.
Very well done.
And I'm keeping track. Resolved.
Magic.
All right, and then I think we go and end up back back to the future. And next up is Rigel's party at Wizarding School.
Oh, yeah.
Fucking go.
So ask me questions. I'm not going to say anything unless it's asked about it. I don't know if that's like, I feel like that's within the spirit of the rules. If not, please tell me so.
Can you set the scene first?
Yeah,
Yeah.
you got to give us
It's
the
freshman
beginning.
year at, oh yeah, you're right. Thank you. It's freshman year, first month, or no, let's say it's the end of the first semester, you know? Everyone's excited to have survived their first semester. It's been difficult for me to find friends. I've always been a weirdo, but once I discovered I had magic, I'm like, oh, I found my people, but it wasn't as easy as I thought. But finally, by the end of the first semester, I found some friends, and they threw a freaking rager in their dorm or their house. I don't know the wizarding terms for these things. I was too drunk. And it was just full of people. It was a rager. All people from all the different, majors of wizarding school came, because something that I learned is that the potion brewers really know how to party. They know how to put together a concoction that will get everyone real copacetic. Other than that, I think that sets it up, right? Or do you need more about like the world and like how this might tie into it? I don't know if you guys are supposed to pull that out of me or I'm supposed to provide a little bit more.
I think you got to give us like a little lead up into necessarily the event.
Yeah. What's the pivotal event?
All right. How about this? So the wizarding school is on the other side of MIT. It's on the same campus, but you can only get to it if you know how.
Okay.
So it's at the same campus as MIT. And I remember the pivotal moment for me at the party was when, even though we're a wizarding school, we're not against using technology, especially not the wizarding school attached to MIT. So we were, taking electricity from the school via various methods. And at a certain point, there was a power outage, weirdly enough. But even though the lights went out, everyone was having so much fun that, just using the glow from their wands and stuff, everyone decided to just have keep raging in low light. And I don't know, it just made me feel grateful. That's where the gratitude comes in, I guess. Is that enough?
This is gonna sound like the parent in me, but were you old enough to drink?
In what country?
In this country, young man.
When you're in.
Technically, no.
Oh, but it's college. We've all had our fun.
Mm.
Who are some of your friends that you're partying with? Did they go on to do great things? Do anything in particular? Anything notable?
Sadly, a lot of them got wiped out during the singularity. You know, magic could protect a lot of us, but you know, a few of them were professors on the grounds, and you know, you need some warning time, and even if you're magical, to react to things. So they didn't have enough time to react to things. But the ones who escaped are still trying to make the world a better place.
Yeah. How did you get into this school? Was it hard to get in?
That memory is kind of foggy because I wasn't aware of the world of magic prior to this. I know it was probably known in some other parts of the world, but I was kind of a country boy at the time, so you know, wasn't too in touch. So I'd say the way I got into the school was pure happenstance. My powers happened to awaken in a time of need, and the person I happened to help put in a good word for me, got me in so I could test, and I tested high enough to get in.
So, did you interact or party with any of the MIT people? Friends of yours?
Let's say it was against the rules for our school to interact with the other school, but many of the younger and more cantankerous students would take it as a sort of challenge and sort of prank the MIT students. Yes, I would say I definitely developed a friendship with one of them, even though they didn't know, you know,
Yeah,
they
I
didn't know me as
gathered.
well as they thought they did.
I gathered you were not one for the rules.
Did you prank any of the MIT students as well?
I did indeed,
On this
multiple
night?
times. On this night, as I said, my memory is pretty foggy. I don't remember how the night ended, but I vaguely remember getting with a couple other members of the extracurricular potions club. You know, it wasn't potions class. It was a potions club. You know, we're enthusiasts about this.
Nerd.
Yeah. We got together and we thought it'd be funny to prank the nerds on the other side. We found out they were having a party too, but like when we got there, it wasn't an actual party. It was a bunch of nerds with like, you know, their computers in the same room. And I didn't really understand what they were talking about. They couldn't see us, but we thought it'd be funny to prank them a little bit, make them see ones and zeros mixed up, and a couple inconsequential things like messing with what Planck's constant came out as to them. Don't know what that meant, but changing a tiny little number in the local reality really messed with them.
Do you happen to know, or I know you had to be separate, but did you know any of the like projects they were working on at MIT at the time?
Honestly, my friend would talk to me about it. We would, you know, and I could fake it with the help of, you know, a charm potion. But the profane world kind of just went over my head. I didn't understand it, the need for it, any of that. Something about wanting to make their lives easier, not having to work anymore, not having to.
Do we have an anomaly?
Huh?
Now that we're in a new memory, do we have an anomaly?
That I'm confused about with the rules a little bit. Maybe we do generate one for each memory we jump into.
I was thinking that maybe we should, just so
Yeah,
that we have a
at least one,
constant stream of
yeah.
anomalies.
Sure, yeah.
All right,
Okay,
so we
'cause
have one anomaly.
I would like to use one,
Okay.
if it's okay with the group. I'm going to say... Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say, I feel like if you're gonna jump in and use one, I feel like we don't get a say.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to use one and say that not only did you have friends in that group that you were pranking, but you were dating one of them.
Okay, I guess the profane world wasn't completely foreign to me.
Yeah, so you, being the little rule breaker that you are, very disappointed in you as a dad. I would say that you were dating one of them, and that maybe they didn't know you were magical, but they would talk to you about their projects and what they were working on.
His name was Johann.
Yes. So you were dating Johann, and that gave you some insight into what they were working on.
Okay, cool. So in that case, I would amend earlier, since this is complicating things, that I would have known more about it, because if I was with Johann, I would have paid more attention or tried to understand more instead of just dismissing their entire world.
Yeah.
So I would say they were working on something, and even though I was trying to understand, it still went over. Like, I couldn't wrap my head around it too much. They were trying to make some kind of. They wanted to make computers think better. That's how I understood. I understand that computers are some kind of like, machines that do thinking for humans in very specific ways, and they wanted to make these things way, way better. Not just the next generation of computers, but the next, 100 generations down is what they wanted to do. They thought they'd come across some kind of breakthrough.
And when you had mentioned that you would steal some electricity from the school.
Yeah.
What would you all do with that electricity, and how exactly would you steal it from the school?
Well, so the barrier between their school and ours is permeable if you know how to cross it. But, the normies wouldn't know how to cross it. So we basically got an invisible cable, or we got a cable and made it invisible, plugged it into a jack, made a charm so people wouldn't. We had this fun little charm called the Not My Problem charm, where it wouldn't make things invisible to people, but people would see this thing, notice it's odd, but then that part of your brain that says "not my problem" would kick in, and then they just move on with their lives. So if everybody thought "not my problem," no one ever did anything about it. It was effectively invisible. And a plus side of this invisible cable is from the building to the entrance, it crossed a walkway, so people were constantly tripping over an invisible cable. It was hilarious. And to answer the second part of your question, we would use it to power things that we couldn't get the school to sanction. Things for the potions club, things to make our parties more fun. Things like music. Like, we'll say this about the normies: they got good music.
Well,
So what are we attempting to change here? What are we?
Well, I think that
Stopping.
blackout, that something happened with that blackout.
Something
Maybe they were
happened.
stealing too much power.
No one's actually asked me about the blackout yet. I could expound a bit.
Yeah.
How long did the blackout last?
The blackout, it felt like a long time, but in hindsight, remembering how party time feels, I don't think the lights going out must have lasted more than 5 minutes. It was very short term and sudden. It wasn't like just like the lights went out. We had some party lights, we had a disco ball, we had some music. Everything got more intense. Like, the lights got brighter for a second, and then everything went out. But it didn't quite. It wasn't like a. I've seen light bulbs go out. It wasn't like it burnt anything out. Everything worked fine 5 minutes later. It's just. It was like the electricity was behaving strangely.
What felt different when the power came back?
That is a fantastic question, and I wish I'd been more sober. From what I remember, so we'd already pranked them before the lights went out. We'd come back to the party. I remember after the lights went out and the party was ending, so this must have been maybe an hour later before I went back to the normal world. To check on Johann, because he was in a crunch and he needed some space. So after an hour, I went to go check on him, and he was different. I haven't thought about this in a long time. think maybe I'm blocking something out because I'm getting some negative feelings about this. I don't know if I'm allowed to like know how it ended. I'm just, leaving that for you guys.
I think it's up to us to draw a conclusion and try to stop that conclusion.
Cool.
Well, it sounds like their prank may have caused something that led to the blackout.
Mm-hmm.
Which may have had drastic repercussions.
Yeah, especially if they were working on some big fancy thing.
Mm-hmm.
Was your prank with the cable the cause of the blackout?
I didn't prank the cable. Yeah, I guess the cable was kind of a prank, but I'd done that like way before the party. The prank I committed during the party was going over to their place, messing with something on the screen of one of Johan's friends I didn't like, and I messed with I don't know, some kind of universal constant in the local reality. Like it's a really easy trick to make one number appear like another number nearby, just as easy as it is to make a compass spin. But it really messes with them when they notice.
Mm.
Should we fake?
So we need to come up with a way to stop you from being a bad child and
Is
pulling
it as easy as just
the prank.
waiting for him to change that and then change it back?
Or could we?
But
It seems
we
like
can change.
it seems like he would have done this even if he was sober. So
Mhm.
having him
Mhm.
have less potions probably wouldn't have helped. But maybe giving him more potions or distracting him at the party. Maybe I'm thinking too small world.
Maybe we change what code he messed with, so that what punches out from the computer side is ultimately different and may change the way that Johann reacted to the prank. It sounds like he grew more distant after. Perhaps
Something
if it was more of a
changed, yeah.
success than a failure, that would change his attitude towards it all.
May I clarify, he was different, but it seemed like whatever they were going after had been successful.
But something
Maybe
changed.
I didn't expand upon that enough.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm picking up your Western drawl.
All right. Perhaps is the reason you chose them as your target because you were dating Johann?
Were they a threat?
I wouldn't say they were a threat. They were just annoying. Well, in hindsight, with the wisdom of age as I play with my beard, I'd say he probably had a crush on Johann, and that's why he was kind of a dick. He was kind of a dick to both of us, but I assumed it's because he didn't get enough attention or something. So I wouldn't say he was a threat. I was perfectly secure, but maybe he was threatened by me or by Johann. I don't know if it was a romantic thing or if he was threatened by Johann's genius.
The night of the party, were you playing the party music through that cable?
It was powering the party music.
All right.
The music wasn't coming down the cable, but that was the power line, yeah.
I would like to unplug the cable. I'm doing a mundane action.
Oh.
In the middle of the party, so the party's interrupted.
So yeah, just so I understand, I know I can't interact.
Yeah.
But so you're pulling the cable before the power goes out?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep. Before you play the
Mm.
prank, before the power goes out.
Now question, when you roll for this, it becomes like if it goes wrong, I'm one of the players who can, say
Yeah,
how it went wrong again, right?
So if I get a 3 or a 4, you say why the incident still isn't resolved. If I get a 1 or a 2, we get an anomaly, and any player says how things get worse.
Okay, gotcha.
All right, so I'm gonna roll. Oh, balls. I
What'd you
got a
get?
1.
Okay, so
So
add an
that's
extra
an anomaly.
anomaly then.
Yes,
All
add
right,
an anomaly.
All
And
right, so
anyone
we
can
got
say
another anomaly.
how me pulling the plug made things worse.
I'll say this: when you pulled the cable, the power surge happened right when you pulled it, and the weird thing happened when you pulled it.
We're still in the memory, though, I think, right? Or
Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna come back to that.
So you're back to one anomaly, and wait, does that mean the past changed? So now my answers are going to change to what happened?
I don't know.
So I think we decided that we would just decide how each one resolved at the end,
Yeah.
because that's what we did with Nyx.
Yeah. We stay in this memory until we resolve it with a 5 or a 6.
Gotcha. So someone else has to try to resolve it now.
You keep making anomalies, then
Yeah, that's how we do.
Potentially, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
potentially, right?
Anybody else have a solution to
So,
my
we
negligence?
attempt to kind of pull out the cord, and it seems like
Okay, all right. We're overthinking this. This is a big party. You've been drinking. If we get you to drink more, you'll vomit and pass out before causing this catastrophic sort of accident. So, what I'd like to do is spike his spike drink and double the potency of the alcohol, the
Potion.
magic all.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Sounds simple enough.
That's a mundane one. So yeah, just roll.
Okay.
or do you want to maybe spike it magically and get that +1 bonus? Is that possible?
Sleep
This is
spell.
the potion brewers party. We're not just drinking alcohol.
Yeah, sleep spell.
Yes, I'd like to add Ultra NyQuil to it.
Okay. And
Awesome.
don't forget to explain exactly how you're doing this and choose an adjective.
Oh yes.
Okay.
Good.
So what would be the adjectives?
Sleepy.
No. So what I'm gonna do is declare a shot contest, and then rack them up, and then have I think his chaser be the Ultra NyQuil. So we'll shoot down the like 7 shots he was going to do, and then he can chase.
That's
it with
really
the
smart.
Ultra NyQuil. And I guess I'll say like stealthy, sneaky,
Okay.
maybe
Discreetly, maybe?
discreetly. That's a nice way to put it. Yeah.
All right, I'll use that.
Okay, here we go. And 4 + 1, 5.
Wow, I'm so glad you used Ultra NyQuil.
Magic lean.
Magically, that's right. Here I am, a wizard school.
You succeed, and the incident is resolved.
Excellent.
All right, now we
I do apologize.
back to the
Yeah, I had it
future.
coming.
But now we're gonna have 2 anomalies going into this next memory.
Yeah.
Yes.
Ooh.
Oh wait, but we spent 1 anomaly, so we only gained. Oh yes, but
Yeah.
So now we have
you're
2.
right. You're right. You're
Yep.
right. Now we have 2 anomalies. Okay.
Yeah, so we have it set up that we're getting one each round. Yeah.
All
Okay.
right, next is mine. So you arrive back. You are in a field and in front of a lake. There is a picnic blanket on the ground. You see young Shannara sitting there giggling. She had blonde brunette hair at the time, but she's still styled in the braided pigtails. And she's giggling. Across the picnic blanket is a girl roughly the same age. They seem to be their mid-20s. She's blonde. They're having fun. They're laughing. There's a radio playing next to them, and they're listening to music. They get up from the picnic, or we get up from the picnic blanket, and there's nobody else around this area. It's just us, the picnic blanket, the music. and we just start dancing around. We're giggling, laughing, just making fools of ourselves with each other when we lean in close, and we share a kiss.
Aw.
The moment was right. And
Was it a good kiss?
I didn't finish setting the scene yet. And then right after we kiss, we just look at each other's eyes and smile and like coyly back away. But then we grab each other's hand and go back to the picnic blanket. And as we walk back to the blanket, the radio, there's a news bulletin that comes on that says that they've banned starting immediately, effectively immediately, the raising of livestock. It has been banned in the country, and any livestock that are currently being raised are to be signed up and permitted and put to slaughter. And that's
Were you or your family raising any livestock at the time?
No, we were not. It just seemed like that was such a strange. I guess there were things that led up to that announcement, but it was just put a little damp. It was just a weird news bulletin. It kind of felt like it came out of nowhere.
Now, this is gonna sound like the dad in me, but how old were you when you were kissing?
We were 26. Yeah.
All right, that's good. That's good. Good age.
I hadn't kissed a girl before. I hadn't kissed anyone before that moment.
Good.
I have a question. Do you remember? Because I personally don't remember that announcement when they announced that they were banning meat and stuff. Why did they want all the animals slaughtered?
I wasn't very I wasn't very smart like you were growing up. I didn't really understand why. I think it's because they said that the artificially generated meat was going to be healthier for all of us. And there had been a lot of flus and sicknesses going around in the livestock. So I think they were just trying to, from my understanding, it seemed like they just want to make sure that these flus and sicknesses were gone forever, and then we'd be eating artificial meat from then on, and we'd all be healthier.
I do miss the taste of hamburgers.
I didn't eat meat myself. So.
You mentioned this kind of came out of nowhere. Were there any details about what government or who maybe pushed this legislation?
I feel it was coming from the top down. It was definitely it. You know how when they make those big laws that like affect everybody, like I think federal laws. It seemed like it was from the big man himself, the president himself, like his whole ruling branch.
Never liked him.
President Cow Kill.
Oh, that's so good.
That's what they used to call him.
What was in the picnic?
So we were just snacking. So Jayla and I, we used to go to festivals together. She's my festie bestie. And we were just snacking on some chips. We just had an evening off together, so we snuck down our favorite hiking path, and we're like, let's go just hang out under the stars and dance a little bit, have some fun. So we had some chips there, but generally we were just hanging out like we normally were, and then we kissed. It was beautiful.
Well, I hate to say it, but I think we're all thinking it. We gotta kill the president.
I'm just happy to not be the first person to mention that.
He was a Republican anyway.
I'm a Republican, yeah.
I agree with you. Would you mind if I put my skill to this? I believe I could take him out pretty easily.
I mean, if this is what everybody thinks we should do, I'm totally okay with killing him.
I mean, I wanted to hear the rest of the picnic went.
If we do kill the president, that doesn't necessarily change the law.
You're right. We'll have to kill all of Congress.
Is there a way we can maybe
if he passed the law through an executive order, and he can't make that executive order.
She did say it came from the big man, so it sounds like something he announced and did unilaterally. So I think it's worth a shot trying to take him out individually.
But even taking him out, that won't change the law because it seems like it's already been put in place, and we don't know if the next person would revert it. It seems to me like we have to somehow.
Well, from what I remember of the process of the executive branch, if he was announcing like on TV, like a unilateral thing, he must have either signed it on camera or just before they went live. So I think if we time it right, when we go back into her memory, if we do it right at the beginning of the memory, we might get to it in time. So you have a reasonable fear that the next guy will just see the piece of paper on his desk and sign it, but he might not have the same motivations. What two politicians have the same motivation other than money?
This way, her first kiss is not to the killing of the hamburgers. It'll be
to the
killing of the president.
If that means when we come
Which
back
I
to the
think is a better memory, in my opinion.
Regardless of solving this apocalypse, if it brings back the chance that we can have a hamburger when we get back to the present, that's worth it on its own.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah, brother.
I just, from a bureaucracy standpoint, though, I don't see how killing him. It's if he's gone on the radio or TV and presented this, I doubt it's been something that's not at least been put in the works and is supported by.
Oh, that actually.
Well, it may give people
think
a second thought on doing it, because if he was killed for this reason, this is like the go back and kill Hitler scenario. Except for this is the Hitler of hamburgers.
And kill the rest. Yeah, and then what are we saying? An empty country. What if we went back and made cows healthier, changed the genus so where they retained more nutritional value, so there wasn't a cause to switch beef out for this artificial supplement?
That sounds like, I think that would solve the issue, but I don't think that's why they banned it. That sounds like the politicians were banning it because of this, when secretly we're banning it because of this. I would like to roll to try to kill the president in my specific way. I think it's worth it. If it doesn't work, I will own that anomaly.
And how are you doing so?
All right.
I mean, it's only been 10 minutes. It was only a matter of time before someone went to try to kill the president.
Indeed. It's part of every time travel conundrum.
We covered this in magic school.
So I'm going to try to kill President Countkill in the following way. So, I'm going to prepare my ingredients here in the future to create the deadliest potion I've ever made. I'm going to handle it very carefully, and y'all should probably just stay 6 feet away just to be safe. The second we get there, I'm going to need y'all to give me some of your magical power, because I'm going to use a teleportation charm on my potion to teleport the liquid inside the vial into the president's office. Hopefully into his coffee, but honestly, everybody in that room's gonna die.
Well, just teleport it into his stomach.
Yeah.
I'm gonna try that, but teleportation ain't my forte. The potion is, and that's why I'm making it so deadly. As long as this potion ends up in the room, they're all dead. So here we go. So it's D6 plus 1, right?
What adjective are you using?
For cheeseburgers.
Oh.
Deadly.
Hmm.
I mean, you said deadly multiple times. I think it's got to be deadly.
It's got to be deadly.
Okay, deadly it is. I was trying to come up with like a $5 word, but I'm cool with that.
I was hoping murder was maybe the third or fourth option, but here we are.
That's a verb.
Murder
Thank you.
is murdery an adjective?
Before he rolls, after the roll.
Here, I'm gonna point at it. Oh god dang it! It's too dark. It's a 5.
You rolled a keyboard. Oh,
It's a 5, it's a 5 plus 1.
woo!
That's
Oh, it's a 6. Yes, 6. Killing the president works for once.
Oh no.
And before we're out of this memory, I'm going to use an anomaly. I'm gonna turn off the radio and take out the batteries so that this young lady doesn't have to have her day ruined with this bad news, and her memory is only a good memory of her kiss.
Aww.
That's potentially catastrophic, but very sweet.
Oh my goodness.
Your wizard voice is perfect, Sam.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Oh my goodness. All right. Pew, 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 pew.
Well done.
That is now our time travel noise, by the way.
Wait, what happened with her? Did you get along?
Oh,
You don't ask a
I
young
know.
lady about her affairs.
you're gonna have
I'm
to
sorry.
wait. You're gonna have
It's
to wait.
impolite.
I only raised the son. I didn't know.
Pew, 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 pew. Up next we have Drake and the day he adopted his daughter.
It was raining when I got the call. I knew Jeannie before the adoption through her family. I wasn't exactly next of kin, but I was the closest thing she had. It was a real tragedy what happened. So I headed down and I filled out the paperwork. And I knew the moment she walked into that office and she held me and cried, and I cried. I knew in that moment that I loved her, and I would do anything for her. And we drove home, and the rain stopped.
And how long, or what made you decide to adopt?
You don't always get a decision in these types of things. She needed somebody, and I was there. Her parents had been killed.
Mhm. Is that the call you're talking about? You got the call that her parents?
Yeah.
What were the circumstances of their death?
I really don't know what happened. I know that a lot of it was covered up, and a lot of it was they never found who killed them. They were never brought to justice, but they were apparently killed by wizards. That's the only detail we had.
And what was their occupation?
I was a war mage. I fought in a few scraps, and they were sort of doctors, scientists, non-magical. They did a lot of humanitarian things. So I only knew them through jobs where I had to protect them, traveling through less than friendly places. They were good people. They weren't my people, but they were good people.
Do you know specifically how they died? I know they were killed, but like the method of their death?
I do not.
You-
They never gave us police files, and they never caught who was responsible. And I had a little girl to take care of.
Mm.
that makes sense. Do you think they were the intended target?
I don't know if it was targeted or random or what. I know that they were killed by magical means, and they were not magical to defend themselves.
Sorry if I missed this. Were you friends with her parents?
I didn't have many friends. I was associated with them through my work. I protected their humanitarian efforts as a mercenary. A few times they would hire me, and they were good enough. They made sure I had a warm meal, and we talked now and again, but I never expected them to put my name down if something had gone wrong.
Mm-hmm.
I guess they felt like I was the only person who could protect her.
And
So they did humanitarian efforts.
Yeah, they would go to different countries that had hostilities revolving around magic, and they would
Mm.
help people with medicines, and they always needed an escort, and me and my team, being war mages, for those who don't know, mages that are specifically crafted to fight. We often took jobs from them. It was good money, and they were good people.
Mhm.
I have kind of a more esoteric question.
Mm.
Do you think you could have survived the apocalypse without your daughter?
I could not imagine my life without my daughter, and I couldn't imagine being here without my daughter.
Where was the daughter when her parents were killed? Was she with them or was she somewhere else?
She was at school. She's smart girl. She was going to a private school. And she didn't even know until the day we both kind of found out.
Mm-hmm. And you said you were protecting their efforts, right? Who were you protecting it from? Like, who was attacking?
Ooh.
In war, it kind of varies. Usually, whatever side they weren't helping would try to prevent aid coming to the side that they were fighting. I would say that was common. I would say they also helped a lot of less fortunate people, maybe in ways that governments had failed them.
And at this point, did we have a president?
Well, I know that it was shortly after Cal Kill's assassination, so his vice president, Chick Hader, was
Just as bad, I swear.
was in probably taking over.
I can't with these names. Do you remember who you were at war with, or at the time?
Not we were at war.
It was just
There were wars in different countries. A lot of religious people being anti-magic, and a lot of very conservative-minded people being against the spread of magic, and this led to different factions fighting for power, which tend to give people with power more power.
And sorry, I'm asking a bunch of questions. In their work, did they use a lot of technology to help people?
I would say so. A lot of it was medicine, but they weren't. It wasn't really like machinery. A lot of it was different types of medicine, and they were, you know, mostly just helping folks.
Hmm. It's like I want to save them somehow, but I don't want him to not have the love of his daughter.
I know, right?
I
Mhm.
think
That may be the price.
if we were to find the people who killed them, that we or why they were killed and who killed them, that
But you can't act.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bring some accountability, uncover maybe what sort of actors were involved in this.
Oh, I mean, maybe we could do
It-
both.
it-
Maybe we could do both. Maybe we could save the parents' life and have him save their life so they stay in each other's lives
Ooh, that's a good idea.
while figuring out who did it. I just don't know how yet. I'm figuring.
Mhm.
Yeah, there's
Maybe we set a trap for the would-be killers. Wait,
How, or did we figure out how they were killed?
Nope.
it's just magical means.
Oh,
That's all
I don't know.
you recall.
That's all they told me. And they called me shortly after it happened.
who's they?
And you said there was a cover-up. Is that right? Was there a cover-up?
It just didn't make news, and people didn't talk about it, and they didn't give us a lot of information.
Were there a lot of magical-related deaths back then?
No.
And so just to confirm, you weren't with them when this happened, or near them at all?
No, I was in the city when it happened, and they were also in the city, and I knew it had been raining, and yeah, shortly after it had happened, very shortly after it had happened, they gave me a call.
So if they were in a different part of the city when this
Yes.
happened?
Yes.
So
They would have been at their laboratory.
So, and when you were in the city, they didn't need your protection. They needed your protection when you were out and about.
Traveling.
I would like to use an anomaly to change your answer to you weren't in a different part of the city. You were across the street having lunch at the diner across the street from the laboratory, opposite corner.
Yeah, I was. I was there eating a nice steak sandwich.
That's a dad meal right there.
Eating a nice steak sandwich, and yeah, I was right there by the lab, and I probably thought about popping in and dropping off some soup for them because it was raining.
Did you always want to be a parent?
No. I've always been good at one thing, and that was killing, and I didn't really change until Jeannie came into my life.
You mentioned then that you were across the street from them. Does that mean we know where they were attacked and where they were killed?
In their laboratory.
Oh,
And because of the nature of medicinal work, they closed everything off.
I think I may have a resolution, but I've already used a resolution, so I want to leave it for someone else.
Do we have another anomaly?
Yes,
We
we
have
do.
one left. Yeah.
If they're in the building, I'd like to just say that there was a window with which you could see them from where you were at.
From the diner across the street?
Mm-hmm. So you could see like who came and killed them.
That complicates things.
It
Well,
does, both physically
Well,
and
it depends.
metaphysically.
What is our goal to stop the murder? What is our?
I believe so. The goal is to stop the murder, but have him be responsible so that like he can still be in.
Their lives. Like
In
he
the
was
girl's
already in
life.
the lives.
He can't act in this matter.
No.
No, but we can change how past him would have reacted to things.
Yeah.
If, for example, we were to somehow make him aware that something's about to happen, as easy as one of us going up to him and being like, "Hey, I saw someone shady go into that building." If one of us were to go up to him, that's not him acting, but then as soon as we teleport back, we would see what he would have done.
Or that there were more guards that night due to a clerical error in scheduling.
That could work, scheduling more guards, but then he wouldn't get the credit for saving them, which is part of the goal.
Hmm.
Someone want to go back in time and just tell him to prepare
That's
for
a
magical
mundane
attack.
resolution.
We can only go to these events, I believe.
Yeah.
Maybe that's just a game mechanic, but
I mean, I got the call basically right
Did
after
you get
it
the call in the
happened.
diner?
Yeah. Well, now I did.
Yeah.
Now that I'm in the diner.
Yeah.
While you were in the diner, did you notice anything weird happening to the building didn't explode, like the building across the street didn't explode or anything, right?
Nope.
Okay.
The less optimistic outcome, I think, would just be to try to understand who killed them, why did they cover it up, and then bring that to light, perhaps.
You know what? Actually, you make a fantastic point, Nicholas. I think that if we were to, because if he's getting the call already, that means that they're already dead. You're right. We
Yeah.
can't affect their death. But we could, he remembers the diner. He remembers being there. The memory doesn't start right at the beginning of the call. I imagine he got a call from security that the alarms were going off and there were dead bodies or something. So maybe if we alert him right away, he can, see who's exiting the building and follow them or something. I think it's worth a shot to be like, hey, your friends were just murdered. Proof, we're gone.
Were there any security cameras at the lab?
See, that's the weird part. There were security guards, but they never caught anybody, and they never had a clue on who it was.
Did the cameras see anybody, or it was just like there was nobody there, or the cameras were off?
They didn't give me that information. I wasn't a cop. I was a mercenary.
Yeah.
They're hiding something.
Yeah,
Plain
I
as
think
day.
our job should be to uncover this and who's hiding it and why.
Yeah, we gotta think big picture because we gotta stop this apocalypse. I don't think simply like saving their lives would have stopped I mean, maybe it would have, but I
Worth a
think we
shot.
need to know what the cover up is. But if any of us have anything they want to do, you can just do it. Roll for it. Take it.
Yeah. I'm trying to imagine if there's a way to maybe locate the lost camera tapes, see who was in possession of them, and then maybe broadcast that so that it's clear that so-and-so was covering up the efforts to kill humanitarians.
Were your daughter's were her parents public figures at all?
No, they were just doctors trying to make the world a better place. They had funding, and that funding paid for my guns.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Do you know who was funding them? Was it any one person or just a little bit of everyone?
I know there was a united humanitarian effort. I didn't know too much about them. I know that they took money from different governments to help, but they also raised money. Sometimes you'd see those commercials, sponsor a child, cup of coffee kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so what's the best way to uncover this secret, team?
I think we need to alert him. You know what? What if we go into the diner and teleport him into the lab before the phone call can happen?
I don't think we can be before the phone call. I think we can be like at the point of the phone call.
Hmm.
'Cause that's
Yeah, the
where-
memory
yeah.
starts out of character. The memory starts when it was raining and then the phone started ringing.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
So he remembers looking out the diner and it raining, and then his phone starts ringing.
All right. Since we're wizards here, what if we were to imbue his coffee that he's drinking with a partial local omniscience potion or something? So that as soon as he gets the call, the first thing is on his mind is, who did this? Well, then he would know the answer.
Like a mind reading?
Because we can,
Yeah, but being able to read like the local
Like detect
fabric of the
thoughts?
weave.
Yeah. Like a
Yeah, like-
big
like a-
detect thoughts.
like divination magic, but
Yeah.
we can only affect what's at the scene, right? We
Yeah.
can't
Uh-huh.
just change something within the world at large.
I mean, I don't know. Y'all killed the president.
That
That wasn't at the
true.
scene.
I teleported the potion to the president, so
What if we change the, because we're not we're across from the lab. So what if we changed his phone? Because I'll ask a question. What kind of, was it a data holding phone, or was it more like a rotary phone? What kind of phone was it?
This wasn't the Middle Ages, boy. I had a cell phone, a smartphone.
Okay.
I actually a satellite phone, because I traveled.
Well, what if we changed so that when the data that came out from whatever they were working on was intercepted with the signal on your satellite phone and made its way to your phone, so that whatever they were trying to cover up was like a CC. You were given a copy of that information.
So it was
I like that.
like broadcast.
You mean like
Flight
the
signal?
you mean like the videotape or whatever?
Mm-hmm. Whatever they have. If there's no cameras, then at least their documentation, their footage evidence, or even just the chain of emails. If you got literally CC'd into what happened.
For clarification again, you keep saying they called me. Who's they?
oh, no one's asked that.
Good question.
I got a call from the main office, and then I got the call from shortly after I rushed over, and I couldn't get in because, well, previously the police were there before I got there.
The main office of the lab?
The main head of the division, I guess, not
Mhm.
the whole company, I guess. They were
Were there survivors at the lab?
yeah, there were. It wasn't a genocide. They
Yeah, he
were the
mentioned
only
guards.
2 victims.
Did you ever see the bodies?
No, they did not permit us. They told us because of the way that the magic was used, it was not something I'd want to see. even though I had insisted because I had seen men killed magically in many ways.
And who's they told you you couldn't see it?
The police.
Octorus, I'm kind of about your idea about, but tweaking it a little bit. Like what? Because we knew there were security cameras. What if you broadcast the security cameras to, and all the feeds to his phone?
Yeah, I imagine the police have the security cam footage and also autopsy reports and evidence of their death.
Mm-hmm.
If they're dead,
Mm-hmm.
can't trust the government.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, we can just change that he got a blind copy of all that in his emails.
You wanna try that?
Maybe there's a friend at the precinct, an old war buddy or something. Sure, there's someone you know.
Or
Yeah, let's try.
While he's on the phone call with the police, we magic over the files.
I think that the cleanest way would be if in the automatic backup process, I'm sure whenever someone pressed the cover up button on the flag, it goes automatically somewhere. So maybe at that moment in the code, your phone is added to the automatic backup. So everything that they send out goes to your phone as well.
Would you
That
use magic to
seems-
do this?
I think we'd have to. I don't think any of us are tech
Yeah.
heads.
Yeah.
No, it's just must have been a bug in the system. Just a freak accident.
You gonna use your
How would you do this
probability magic?
specifically, Sam? Oh yeah, probabilities.
Yeah, or bug, but yeah, I'll use probability a few more times. Yeah, maybe glitch. No, that's a verb. That's not really an adjective. Glitchy.
Oh, the adjective to describe the magic?
Glitchy's a word.
All right. Yeah, let's do it.
And can you describe exactly what you're doing as a wizard back in time to make this happen?
Sure. So, he's going to go back, and with the help of the other wizards, be invisible, seeing the different guards who are there. One of them's, of course, asleep. The other one's watching future YouTube on his phone. None of them really looking at the cameras. He's going to go in and I think just give the hard drive a little spark, like basically like rub his feet together, and instead of just regular electricity, it's the electricity of probability. It's like a quantum sort of electricity, and then just kind of like tap the hard drive, and then have that sort of like short out the hard drive / because I don't know if it'd be like a scratch disk or like a solid state. It'd probably like a solid state, so it would just mess with the electric memory in there.
That's really cool.
I mean, if it works. Another 4, so 5 with magic.
Oh, lucky.
Oh, so close. Well done.
I just lost my notes. Where did we go?
Itchy.
And so, cool. Magic. Oh, sorry, I'm just taking notes on what just happened.
Same.
Yeah.
So did you roll for it yet? Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was a total of 5.
Nice. So now I got all of the evidence at the same time I got the phone call.
Mm-hmm.
Around the same time. So,
Oh, we won't know what that has to do with the resolution until,
Yeah.
the resolution.
and whether
All right.
but we're hoping that'll give us more information to overall change the future The Robocalypse.
Future.
All right, we have ooh, we're back to the future.
Now
That's
suddenly,
exactly how it sounds. That's crazy.
now suddenly I have an eye patch.
Oh, you know what? Every third time it happens like that, I'm sorry.
So just keeping an eye on time for tonight. I think
Yep.
because we're about to enter the 5th memory of 10 memories, and then we have a resolution. I think we're gonna finish this 5th memory, and then make a part 2 for this session, if we're open for that.
Okay.
That could work.
Next
I think
show.
the way we could speed it up would be like if each of us gets one question, but I don't think we'd uncover nearly as
We've
much.
got 6 more memories left. Yeah, and I like how this is playing out, and I like this world we've built. So I think I want to be So
I liked
we'll
my
do-
eye until I lost it.
we've
Fucking
got
time travel.
we've got one more memory for tonight, and then we'll close it out, and then
Sounds
we'll
good.
continue the game next Goodberry Cafe next time at the cafe. So the last memory we have for tonight is Arcturus's son's baseball game.
Okay. Alrighty. Yes, it was my son's baseball game. The one where they use the stick to hit the ball, and everyone runs in a little diamond. Unfortunately, my wife at the time had told me that if I didn't go to this, my son would not love me, and I'd be all alone. And I said, fine, but I did bring my notes to the game. So it goes on a ways, and there's a pitch and a hit, and finally my son is up to bat, and he goes and he swings and he misses and he swings and he misses, and I realize now is the perfect opportunity to test my probability magic, and so I go and I reach out into the different realms of possibility, and I aim towards one where he hits it out of the park, and we go and we get pizza. I don't quite remember what happened after that, however, but I remember overall it being a pretty good day.
Where was the baseball field?
Oh, it was over in Trent, New Jersey.
Oh, Trent, New Jersey.
Yeah, it was an overcast day, but they had little lights.
You said your boy was not good at the baseballs.
Horrible. Ernest is the worst.
Now, you chose to try to make him good using probability magic.
It seemed a suitable experiment, yes.
What level of probability did you have to use?
I had to dig deep. He is an awful, awful player. And so I had to go past what is beyond probable and a little past what is beyond possible, and bend reality in that direction. It was a bell curve that looked more like a capital I than an arch. And
I
so
don't
there
think
was
I've-
quite a put a string.
I don't think we got enough magic in the world to make you a good dad. Hold on.
Oh, he was trying his
I'm
best.
hoping to
here.
collect enough, though.
All right, so I think it was a good day from his son's point of view, so mission accomplished as a father. However, I feel maybe messing with the base probability of the universe at such a fundamental level to make your son better at baseball might have had consequences that you might not be aware of.
I don't see how.
What team were they playing against?
Oh, it was the Tigers against the Bengals.
How old was your son at this point? And how old?
Hold on, let me look at his birth certificate. It was 9.
Ain't enough
years old.
magic in the world.
So I think we have a solution here. I don't want to. Actually, I have one final question. After you said that you had a nice day with your son, did you guys have a decent relationship after that?
He seemed very excited to be around me.
And that lasted for years, at least until adulthood maybe.
Well, he I just became very busy with research, and I would go to every other graduation, and I thought that was sufficient.
Every other. Oh my god, that's amazing. All right, I think I have a solution to this. What if we gave, and I know I have a one-track mind here, but I am a potion brewer. What if we
Please do not
go
poison
back
my
in
stuff.
time? No, we want to poison you. What if we go back in time and give him a love potion, not the romantic kind, but the platonic kind, and make him truly prioritize the son above all else, so that he realizes that he probably shouldn't experiment on his son because that might adversely affect his health.
Two problems there. One, we can't go further back than his memory. Two,
no, we can do it at the baseball game.
As terrible of a father as he might be, his terribleness led him to be a good probability magician, which led him to be here.
That's a good
one. Surely.
I got a question.
Odds are good that if we made him love his son, he'd be worse at magic.
What if we just went back in time, pumped his son full of steroids so that he was good at baseball without his dad having to interfere?
As a dad, I'm going to say no.
That's a no.
I got a question. So, hey, you said you had a good day. You guys got pizza. And did you notice anything different about anything that happened after this baseball game?
Nothing much. Most shades of blue are a little more red.
Anything happen? Any laws?
He kept doing this thing where with his face, where the sides of his mouth would go up. I don't know what that was about. I don't know if that's something with the temporal matrix.
What did your son grow up to do?
Oh, he's an accountant. Yes.
He's an accountant for who?
It's one of those research and development companies. I don't pay much attention to it. Something with computers, robotics. I don't know.
I've got it.
It's a very boring job.
I think I have a solution to this. What if we go back in time to the baseball game and using magic, we memory gift his son with the memories of Wade Boggs so that he suddenly becomes one of baseball's greatest players and has the instincts to just become one of the greats. He doesn't become an accountant for R&D and instead goes and plays for a baseball team from New Jersey. I don't know who it is.
A small nudge, but okay.
I disagree.
Well, I'm trying to figure out what changes we're making affects the future and prevents the apocalypse. And I feel like we're going in a completely wrong direction here. So I got to ask, this probability magic that you used on your son, did you practice this more or perfect it?
That was the practice. And it eventually led to the perfection, of course, which is why we're here.
The reason I think memory gifting his son with the memories of Wade Boggs, one, if he's naturally good at baseball, the second he steps out on the field, his dad won't treat him as an experiment. And two, he won't end up working for this R&D corporation. That might be what messed up the future. We don't know what messed up the future, but yeah, that's why we're throwing spitballs at the universe and seeing what sticks.
I'm thinking, this is me as a dad. I'm thinking, if we made his son fail, he may not have the confidence to become an accountant. And he would also have his dad accept and love him as he is. That might be a pipe dream.
I've got a
I think
question.
you might be projecting your love for your daughter. I don't think you're going to find that in our friend here.
I think. Why did he choose to become an accountant?
Well, he said that he didn't think it made any sense that he made that hit. He said it didn't add up. And I said, if it doesn't add up, count it again. And so
You
gotten the habit
influenced
of
his career
counting and
choice.
counting and counting. I'll tell you what, I
Oh.
saved a lot more on my taxes from that year on. It was wonderful. It was a very kind son.
I have a proposition.
Uh,
What if we tell his son that his dad affected it? And then he won't look up to his dad, and his dad won't influence his career choice. He won't become an accountant for this. Maybe he's
Well-
the best. Is he a good accountant? Yeah,
He's
he
the
saved
best.
money on the tax. Yeah. Okay. So
Here's the
Yeah.
thing. We don't know
Yes.
what affected the future. We don't know if his probability magic made it easier for AI to take over. We don't know if his son's financial expertise made it so that the company could, get the resources and manage those resources to make that happen.
mhm.
The memory gifting of Wade Boggs solved both these issues.
You're really pitching this one.
So I think maybe a simpler solution is you mentioned that your son maybe thought that it didn't add up, correct?
Well, sure, it was very improbable by design.
Naturally. And you also mentioned that you applied this on the third swing because the first two he swung and missed.
Well, I wanted to give him the benefit of the doubt. Yes.
True. What if we just maybe not change the probability, but say on the second pitch, change just the flight of the ball path so that he does get a hit? And somehow leave it in such a way that your son thinks he achieved it on his own without any
Problem with that
shenanigans.
is baseball has multiple innings. He's going to go up to bat more than once. I'm kind of for the Wade Bogg thing, but I'd like to throw in an anomaly.
Yeah.
Okay. Go for it.
There was a scout, a baseball scout, for high school, college baseball scout who was just, for some reason, his son was also on your son's team, and he was there. So now when we gifted him the memories, it's going to more guarantee his career path than just being good suddenly.
And
All right.
So we're making two changes then. Is that correct?
Well,
my
I'm going.
son-
That's the
Excellent.
anomaly is what I'm doing. I believe someone else was going to do the memory thing, but I think what you don't remember is that there was a fella there who was his son was also on your son's team, and because they did so good, they became friends and had a baseball career. I think the anomaly is there was a scout
Yeah. And
in
then
the bleachers.
I would say
this is only if the
Rigel,
resolution's successful.
Rigel, go for it. Well, the anomaly happened. There's a scout there, but Rigel.
Oh yeah,
go
no,
for
but
it.
the
So
crew, come on.
would that be +2 then, or is it only plus
No,
No,
one?
this is +1. This is just making it extra sure narratively that your son's gonna not be an accountant.
What is your
Right. Yes.
What's your adjective?
My adjective is
That's
Home run.
not.
home run. Athletic.
Mm-hmm.
So I go back in time and using arcane, workings, I gift him the memories of Wade Boggs, who I believe is dead. I think he's dead. The memories of past legend Wade Boggs.
That feels like very traumatic to give.
Well,
Child.
not the memories.
Save it for if it doesn't work.
Yeah.
I'm not.
Well, hold on.
No, I'm doing this now before you traumatize a child.
Yeah,
got a
Maybe the
6, 5
distilled
plus 1.
skills go in his
And a
Gatorade.
success.
So this kid absorbs the memories of like a 70s baseball star.
Well, he's either going to therapy or the major leagues. So
I'm getting a little
either way,
close.
he's
Hopefully
going to be an accountant and no probability magic.
All right.
We either ruined or helped his life.
I can't wait to see what. But that was you succeeded and resolved the incident. So.
Oh, thank God.
Oh,
I
my
was
goodness.
worried because that kid was going to be so traumatized if that was a 4 or lower.
I mean, he still could be traumatized either way. It just
I
means
don't-
that the event doesn't end the way that we thought it would.
I hardly see how. I was nothing but encouraging
Indeed,
my
indeed.
my
But look at
son.
it this way: now you didn't have to use the resources of a spell on the baseball game.
That's true. That's true.
Um,
I
That one's
got to
on me,
make a
buddy.
dog fly or something.
well, as I said, I wanted to wrap up 5 memories so we can have like a nice cutoff and do 5 memories next time. Well, we are back to the present as time traveling wizards. Uh, to wrap up tonight's episode, I wanted to thank everyone for joining us today at Goodberry Cafe. I wanted to especially thank all of my guests and for inadvertently agreeing to a second session with us. Didn't know how long we all went into this blind, didn't know how long this game would take or what this game would take. We're all learning as we go. We might not even be playing it correctly. But it's been fun, and I hope you've enjoyed staying with us.
I like the way we're playing it.
I do
so.
I've been enjoying it. So
on the game.
before I give my little closing statement, any of my guests, is there anything you want to plug? Anything you want to shout out?
Sure. I just put my emote in chat. I am a Twitch streamer. I may or may not be going to New York this week, and then I'll be back streaming. I stream a lot of Pokemon Unite. I'll be giving away shiny Pokemon soon. And I also do some tabletop RPG streams that you can follow me and find out more about on Jeremy TV on any social.
I do. Just follow me on Instagram. It's Sam Gosland, Gosland, as in Delta or Divine Wizard. And then it's Boxbrush on Twitch, and then I'm looking to do some like live art streams here and there. So I do digital painting, so it'll be fun.
And Nick and Lou.
And do not follow Nick.
I know, dude.
Don't find him. Don't look at him. Don't reference him.
Yeah.
Leave Nick alone.
If you can find my social media, go for it.
Can we get your social security number though?
Last four digits of your credit card.
He's calling in from a bunker. Like this is
concrete dome.
Christopher's unfollowed you.
Thank you again. That's a great stopping point. And thank you to everyone listening again, everyone in chat for joining us here at Goodberry Cafe. I hope you enjoy this new revamped version of the cafe. I hope you've enjoyed your stay. Next Monday on this channel, we are back with Forging Fates, our live stream D&D on this channel where I play Whisper. I can't wait to see what happens next in our story. You should definitely tune in. The last Monday of the month, we're having a community night. You should definitely join our Discord. Our community nights is when our Discord, we all jump on stream together and play games like Jackbox. I don't know what we're going to play this month. I guess we'll see. But join us on our Discord. It's a nice, friendly, positive place. I also, both those things happen at 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern, same place here. And I also encourage you to, if you enjoyed what you saw today, follow us and subscribe. Check us out on YouTube. The live YouTube video of this play session will be up next Monday. And you can see all of our previous episodes of Forging Fates and Goodberry Cafe also on our YouTube channel at New Age Geeks. But until then, it's been a pleasure, and I hope you have a wonderful night. Thank you again.